Thank you so much, Kim, for hopping on this case study over here with Closer Control. So, for guys who do not know, Kim Morgan is a real estate operator based out of Egypt, but doing a ton of deals, especially in the US. He runs a company called Hoperty Home Buyers, where he buys properties mainly for wholesaling, fix and flips, and also for innovations and the other parts too. Now, Kim has been a client of Closer Control for over 6 months, and he has a ton of experience. And obviously, we're going to be diving a little bit more into how exactly Closer Control is integrated into his real estate operations. Kim, thank you so much for being part of this case study with us. Now, just to start off, could you give us a small intro about who you are and a little bit more about your operations?
Sure thing. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me today, Dion. A little background about what I do. I have two companies running. I have Leverage Solutions. That's the one for marketing. We typically provide cold calling services, lead generation services, and that's how we actually get our own deals. And then I have the other business for wholesaling, Hoperty Home Buyers, where we basically do wholesaling innovations. We've been using Closer Control for about 6 months now. Yeah, as you said, it's been helping us out, especially the AI part, the AI bot part. It keeps reviving the old deals. I believe we closed one of the deals that we got was a revived lead using the AI bot.
Nice. And if you don't mind, can you walk us through how exactly your current setup looks like, let's say in terms of your team size and also your day-to-day operations?
Yeah. Well, actually, in terms of marketing, we're only using cold calling. We've been only using cold calling for the past year, and we have like three call callers in Leverage Solutions. They provide us with about 150, anywhere between 120 to 150 leads a month. I have two acquisition managers and myself. Um, in terms of acquisitions. We're currently adding a Facebook marketing channel to our Closer Control. We're gonna try Facebook marketing for the first time. Hopefully that works out better than cold calling. Our ROI in terms of cold calling has been anywhere between, because it differs from one month to another, but it has been around 15, anywhere between 12 to 15%, which is awesome. Um, in terms of the process, we usually have the call calling being qualified, and then the lead would be sent into our system in Closer Control. Once it hits the system, the AI would just, text it to see what would be a good time for us to get in touch. If they provide a specific timing, we always try to, be as compliant as possible with the time that they be available in. If not, or if they didn't reply back, we just hit on the lead once it hits the CRM, once we get it. So our process, we always aim for having a one call close. Who wouldn't like that? But it's not usually the normal process. Usually we sign the deal after it really differs from one person to another, but we try to keep it as minimum as possible. But our point is not to get the deal under contract as soon as possible. Our point is to make sure that the seller is actually comfortable enough to move forward with the process that we have. Our goal is to, explain the whole process, let them know what exactly are we looking for, how soon can we get things moving, and based on their situation, based on their closing timeline, we try to work on their closing timeline, but at the same time, don't have the deal for a very long time before it's assigned or signed.
Got it. And what would you say is your main business focus right now? Like on the real estate side, would you say you're more focused on wholesaling, innovations, creative finance, or any other mix of strategies?
Yeah, so we basically we're only focused on cash deals and innovations for now. I do have Adam, my partner. He's the one responsible for the creative offers and sub two deals specifically. This is something that we're looking to add in quarter three into our pipeline, but we're just we're trying to have this as stable as possible in terms of cash offers and innovations. Uh, I wouldn't prefer one over the other because it really depends on the situation of the seller. Like typically innovations would have a little bit more assignment, but it really depends on the situation of the seller, what exactly would, work out for them, because most of the time they would like to sell fast and that wouldn't be very innovation deal. So it really depends on the seller. We always want to hit on a cash offer first, even if it's going to be an innovation deal. We always want to hit on the cash offer first, let them know what would be a cash offer for this property, how soon can we close and everything. And if that doesn't work for them, if they still have some time to give us so that we can list the property on the market, then we can go to novations and then we can offer a little bit more than the cash offer. And that actually helps us or helps us convince the seller of an innovation deal because if they can get just $200,000 for a cash offer and then they know that they can get 230 if they just wait for if they have the time to wait for like 60 days, then if they do have the time, they just wait.
Thank you so much for actually helping us dive a little bit more deeper into your operations. Now, before switching into closer control, like how exactly would you say you were managing leads and follow-ups? Like, did you had another system or a CRM which you were working on from, or were you using just Excel spreadsheets?
I come from Google Sheets. Like that's like I'm an old school man. I prefer Google Sheets, but I mean it's we've been trying Google Sheets and then we tried Podio CRM, and I'm gonna tell you this, and that's not because you're from Closer Control, but it's been a game changer because the tracking and the dashboards and the KPIs and everything that wasn't being tracked on the other CRM and even on Google Sheets. It had to be a little bit more work and then you'd have to add everything manually, which would cost us time. Uh, and we didn't even have the calls being made in the same place. Like we didn't have a dialer or a phone system where we can do calls from the CRM itself, listen to recordings, review, and actually listening to recordings is something that helps me with training my acquisitions because I have to listen to their calls, do a code breakdown with them, see what could have been better on the call. And that wasn't an option with previous CRM because the previous CRM didn't have a phone system in place. We had to, get the calls from one place and then get the notes on the deal or on the lead from another place. And it was just, having multiple platforms to work with for the same thing. It was a little bit more difficult. Since we shifted to closer control, I'll be honest with you, it's way easier because everything's in the same place. And then we had the AI bot with which was not even an option in the other CRM. So that is helping us revive older leads significantly because I don't even have to have a lead manager to keep following up on the deals itself. Like the CRM is doing that for me, and then whoever hits the hit list, whoever responds back to a call or a text, now my acquisitions are going to be calling them as soon as they see that they hit the hit list, and that actually helps us, not have the seller waiting for a long time because earlier if someone calls back, you wouldn't even know because they're calling on a different platform. Let's say it's Ring Central or Dialpad or whatever. It didn't show up on the deal or the lead information itself. But now having everything in one place, that has significantly helped us, increase the efficiency of the team.
Got it. So I would say one of the biggest challenges I guess you faced before coming into closer control was having the data or let's say the information all over the place, and also the lack of an inbuilt or dialing system, which actually prompted you to take the lead information from the Google Sheet to an outside dialer and then basically have the notes from the dialer, then again push it back to the sheet. Yeah, I can see the
And
amount
also the contracts.
and also
We sent contracts from DocuSign, so they had to get the call done on Ring Central Pad and then update the notes on Podio and then go to DocuSign to send the contract. Right now, everything is just in one place. They can do everything from the same Google tab.
nice. Well, so I'm glad to see that obviously Closer Control is able to solve much of the bigger pain points and challenges which you were running before making the switch. Now, I know, let's say when it comes to a lot of other CRMs out there, we have something called where you come into a system, you build out your own processes from scratch. But obviously in Closer Control, you already have sort of like a done for you system where all you got to do is just come in, plug in your leads, and then basically make the calls at the end of the day if those leads are qualified. Now, what are your thoughts on having to build things out from scratch versus coming into a done for you system?
Having it done for you, that's actually what happened to us when we switched to Closer Control CRM. We didn't have to change the stages of the leads because we had similar stages to the ones that you guys have here in Closer Control. So that makes it easier for us to keep taking it from where we picking up from where we left it. Instead of just having everything as a new lead again and then call the people and update the notes yourself. Because right now, as I'm talking to you, we have about I believe 1,000 leads in our CRM, and that's because we continuously clear the CRM. Whoever's sold already, we just remove them. Whoever's we have as a bad number. We keep skip tracing them and then getting back to them. So we usually don't leave the leads, forever on the CRM, unless of course there's still an open probability to be a deal. But yeah, that definitely helped us and saved us tons of time, because instead of calling each and every lead and then reviewing the notes and trying to update that on the closer control and then moving it to its appropriate stage in the pipeline, it was magically appearing on its current stage on the CRM.
Nice. And obviously, one of the things which I want to talk about a little bit more deeper is the onboarding side. Now, especially a lot of CRMs, a lot of systems, the onboarding stage is one of the stages where the system has to perform its best, right? Obviously, first impressions matter. How would
Yep.
you experience with the onboarding for closer control was? Was it easy to get started and navigate the system early on? Or did you face some struggles during that entire time?
No, actually, you guys have an easy system to start with, and one thing I'm gonna give you is that your support is on time. Like whenever I have an issue, it's just one text away for them to start working on my issue. The founders are easy to reach too. So if even if we have like a bigger issue, or if there's a huge change that we need to do in the CRM, it's just one text or one call away for us to start working on it. And that's something that I like out of my day-to-day job. I use a lot of platforms for my clients just to make sure, like, we're always updated and we're using the most efficient ones. And that's something that I don't see happening with a lot of platforms out there. Either it's a CRM or a different platform. The support is usually a big deal breaker for us whenever we're getting into a new platform or a new CRM. And that hasn't been an issue at all with you guys. Like, I mean, I love how the support is responsive, and we get things sorted out same day. Like we don't have to wait for a request to be sent to the backend team, and then the backend team would review it and reply back within 2 days. All that time wasting bureaucracy in other platforms is not happening here, and that's something that I love about Closer Control.
Well, amazing. Well, shout out to our
Yes.
support team. Obviously, we have over 8 engineers actively working with all of our clients in close control. So that's one of the reasons
Yes,
why
sir.
we're able to give the support as soon as possible and as immediate as possible. And
Yep.
we are trying to make ourselves better and better. Now, very recently, we implemented something called the Support AI bot. So obviously, the main purpose of the Support AI bot is not actually to replace an engineer. So what the Support AI bot does is it tries to gather all the information at one go from the set client, and it logs in a ticket for our support engineer so that when they come in to check on the task or the ticket, they have all the information at one go. How was your experience with the Support AI bot which we implemented recently? Have you got a chance to interact with the AI bot yet?
Actually, we just texted it a couple minutes ago. It's the first time for us to use it today. I still don't have a feedback for you on that,
Oh,
but yeah, I mean, we haven't used it yet. It's today is the first day.
got it. Nice. Obviously, do share the feedback because that's also something which we are trying to improve the customer experience overall. Because one of the things which we notice is that since we hire a lot of engineers for a manual support and to also keeping human interaction, but we do see there has been time delays, especially when the client gets back to it and also the engineer gets back to it. So we create
Mhm.
a layer in between where the AI agent would get all the information in one go, and then it creates a ticket on the client's behalf. So that way, the when the engineer logs on, he can see everything and he knows what to work on. Now, apart from that side, obviously you've been on closer control. So, what would you say is the one big feature inside closer control would you say is the most invaluable for you?
Invaluable?
Yeah,
I wouldn't say. Like maybe because the payments, because we don't get any payments through the CRM, but that has nothing to do with close control. I mean, this was go high level and our business model in general. We wouldn't receive payments through the CRM. But other than that, I'm trying to think of something that's invaluable, but I don't think there is. And I'm not trying to, flatter you or anything, but I don't think there's anything that's invaluable here, because everything that we have here we're actually using and it's actually helping us be efficient. So yeah.
got it. Nice. Now,
Mhm.
obviously, one of the main things close control is known for is the way it handles follow-ups. Now, my question is, how would you compare the way you handle follow-ups before close control versus the way you handle them now?
Well, before we use closer control, everything was being done manually. So we'd have to have our lead managers calling these people, updating the notes, and then, setting a time to call these people back in. Or even when we try to send texts, that was being done manually. Right now, with all the automations that we have in the background, um, I don't even have lead managers, right? I don't even need them because they keep the texting automations texting on the CRM keeps the leads alive. It keeps the leads alive based on the stage that they're in. So let's say we have someone who's been ghosting us for a while, then they're being texted continuously by the CRM. There's no human interaction whatsoever unless they respond back to one of these texts. And one thing I love about the text, by the way, is that sometimes it would put in some typos in there and then it would fix them as if it's a real human being who's doing that. So yeah, I mean, it's a huge difference between what we've been doing before closer control and what we're doing now. Because before closer control, everything was being done manually. It took huge time to monitor the lead manager's work and keep track of the leads, keep track of the notes on the profiles and everything. Right now, it's there's no even human interaction unless they respond back. If they don't respond back, they keep getting hit by text and text and text. So until they respond back, or they just move to a different stage based on the response that they gave us. So it's a huge difference, definitely.
Nice. And if you don't mind sharing it with us, do you have any success stories where you could maybe share about how close control maybe revived a deal or an opportunity which might have otherwise slipped through the cracks? Any success story which you can share with us?
I believe we did close a deal on in February last month, and that was someone who's been in the system for about 6 months, I believe, 5 months. I believe that was one lead that we uh, switched from our old CRM to this one here, and using the automations, it kept hitting on that person, and then they responded back to us like, "Now I'm ready. Now I can go move forward with you guys." And in less than 30 days, we had it. That was the deal I was telling you about by the beginning of this meeting. It was one deal that we closed because of the AI bot that kept texting that guy. Once he responded back, we got in contact with him. We got him under a contract, and within 30 days, we had it assigned and closed.
Nice. So this lead was always in the system. It's just that at that exact moment, let's say a couple of months ago, they were not actually ready to sell. But the system sort of like revived the conversation recently and it sort of like pushed the lead back into the motivated stage where he's interested in selling it back. And obviously, once he was motivated, the system tagged it, and then all you guys got to do was just give them a call, see what exactly the information is about, and define whether there's a number which both of you guys agreed upon.
Yep, yep, exactly. That's what happened. Once it hit the responded bucket, the hit list, we called them, given an offer, and then we got another contract, and within 30 days, it was assigned.
Amazing. Well,
Also, not to mention, like we have, but that one wasn't revived. Also, not to mention that we have a deal that we got closed a couple of days ago. That one came from Leverage Solutions leads. Once it hits our CRM, we just call him. The guy was interested. He was very motivated. We gave him an offer, and that was an innovation deal. And we got it under a contract, and then within 30 days, we had it assigned as an innovation deal for $40,000 in assignment.
nice. Amazing.
Yep.
Well, congrats.
Yep. So
Now,
yeah, that's another win with closer control.
well, we're glad to see you keep winning with closer control. Obviously, glad to hear so many of these success stories, and I think this is going to be a great motivator for a lot of people who are using the platform, and yet again, people who are still on the edge, especially when it comes to hopping on the system. I know one of the areas which we pride ourselves in is the activation slash training calls, which is mainly done by our CEO, Connor Wecker. So these
Yep.
calls are mainly used to train the new clients on how to use the system, and we also train the team and the entire team members on how to navigate through it. Now, Kim, obviously you have also team members in the system. How is your experience with the activation process, which is done by the CEO?
Yep. Well, I hop on them. Sometimes I'll be honest with you, not every time. I was just in the Dispo Genius one with Andy, and that was real value. Like the guy told us a lot about how his platform, his product, and how can we use that in our process, and how it's integrating with closer control. So yeah, there's definitely value in these meetings.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, obviously, I would still say, get on many of these training calls as much as possible so that you do get updated on the new stuff which we're bringing into our company every now and then. Kim, I know Closer Control, obviously, we are not just a CRM anymore. We recently introduced a couple of products, especially the revenue engine KPI tracker. Have you ever gotten a chance to look at it, or do you have any experience with that side?
Yeah, I just had a call a couple of days ago about the revenue engine, and I started using it, and it seems like it's awesome. Literally is keeping track of everything. It compares different marketing channels, the ROI in each and every channel, the amount of leads coming in, the amount of quality leads that you have out of it. It tells you the percentage of the quality leads out of total leads. So there's definitely a lot of important metrics in there. And I know like this is one of the things that most wholesalers would miss on, especially the ones that are starting, is not keeping good track of their metrics and KPIs, not knowing which metrics would be the most important for them. Especially if they're using, if they're outsourcing their marketing. So they need to keep KPIs, they need to keep track on their metrics to know if that's working out for them, to keep track of the ROI on each and every marketing channel, to compare these just to make sure if they're spending money, they're spending it wisely. They're not just, randomly spreading their assignments in different places. So that definitely is helpful. Like the revenue engine would tell you a lot of information about your ROI, and it was specify and compare between channels between one month to another month, and it I believe the AI in there would tell you which was the best month if you ask it, what's the best marketing channel do I have, what's the one with the highest ROI. So that's definitely helpful for a lot of people out there not doing that.
No, I can definitely see, because I know one of the biggest retailers face is running out of marketing money, right? Where they
Yep.
spend a lot of money on different channels. They do not know which channel is actually working for them. And if they do not have enough cash reserves, you do end up running out of cash. And that's when, hey man, maybe wholesaling might not be the thing for me. But it's mainly because you're not actually tracking where exactly you're spending your money. And if you're not being wise and careful, you'll end up, what do you call it, burning out of those cash as soon as possible.
Yep.
Now, Closer Control, obviously, it's known for a lot of its AI tools. Obviously, we have the AI conversation bot, AI note taker, AI inbound call agents. What would you say is one of your favorite AI tools inside Closer Control?
I believe the AI note taker. The
Got it.
AI note taker would, because this was one of the biggest pain in the back working with acquisition managers. Because when an acquisition manager is good over the phone, they don't care about anything else. They don't want to be documenting the notes on each and every deal. And even when they're putting in some notes, it's not very detailed. So if someone else is working on the deal, or if someone's looking at their notes, they wouldn't actually get the full picture of what happened with that previous call. The AI note taker would give you everything about what happened. It would specify the important information. It would even tell you some tips and tricks some things that you could improve on the call. And that, let alone that it helps you understand what was wrong with the call, it also would tell you all the important information that happened and without the acquisition having to put any notes in there. So even if they're putting their, generic notes, now you get the generic notes from the acquisition and you get a very specific notes from the AI note taker.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I'm glad to see that the Aerotic is serving its purpose, obviously, for high value operators such as yourself. Now, my
Thank
final
you.
question before we end the case study and the conversation, for someone who is on the edge of getting into closer control, what would you say is your one piece of advice for them?
One piece of advice is that I mean if you're using, because I know I've been there before. If you're using multiple platforms and you're not keeping track and you're not having someone to help you out and guide you with everything that you need, not getting training, you can get everything, all of that in just one place using closer control. So it literally helps you increase the efficiency of your team and your process, and you also get the training calls that you mentioned. You also get like a huge community that is like-minded and will help you out with whatever you need. Especially the technical support is something different than any other platform. So yeah, I definitely advise people not using Closer Control to start using Closer Control, especially if they want to make a couple more bands.
Thanks. Well, thank you so much, Kim, for sharing your thoughts and also your experience using closer control. Now, guys, obviously, if you're a real estate investor or a wholesaler, closer control is not just another CRM. We are an all-in-one system where we provide value on one, the systems, second, the AI tools. We also have a community of other like-minded real estate operators all across the US. We are heavy on the content and webinar side where we host podcasts, workshops on a weekly basis. So obviously, you guys are not just getting access to just a system. You guys are getting access to the entire real estate wholesaling and investing experience. Well, thank you so much, Kim, for hopping on this case study with us and also sharing your valuable experience. This has been so helpful for us. Now, any final thoughts before we end the convo?
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Dion, for having me today, and thank you and the team for being a great support system for wholesalers and investors who are trying to keep up the business and keep everything in place and in one place. So yeah, man, thank you so much for being a huge support system.
Well, thank you so much, Kim. Well, guys, with this, we're ending our call. Do watch the full episode if you guys want to know how exactly Kim's experience has been with closer control. Thank you.